more we need our friends and the harder it is to keep them. This morning, I'm joined by life and mindset coach Sherry Lee to talk a little bit about friendships and friendship breakups. Good morning, Sherry.
Good morning.
So talk to me a little bit about how the pandemic has changed our relationships.
Sure. Well, of course, the pandemic has changed so much. And there actually was a recent article in the Atlantic, and the writer, Jennifer Senior, called this the Great Friendship Reconciliation Time.
And what does that mean?
That means, just like we kind of took time to look at ourselves and take a step back, and that included looking at our friendships. We actually started to look at our friendships and thought, who do we really trust, not just emotionally, but also in our physical space. So, we start to reevaluate the relationships in our life.
Certainly, and especially with the pandemic forcing us to create these very tight social bubbles, you kind of are starting to weed out who isn't integral to that inner circle. Outside of the pandemic, though, why is it that our friendships start to also change at midlife? I mean, we all collect friendships from childhood and work life and all that and school. So why the change?
Well, we kind of all start out in the same place. When we graduate either high school or college, we all, as young adults, start in the same place. And then our lives take these drastic turns. We become busy with different relationships, marriages, divorces, children. We move places, move jobs. And then we get to this place in midlife where we realize we are so different in where we are in life than some of our friends. So we naturally have this time where we decide, why are we in these friendships?
And let's talk about recognizing healthy versus toxic friendships, because so many people have this feeling of obligation to people that they've, sunk years into. So talk to me about what are sorting out those feelings.
Yeah, and it's hard when you're going to break up a long-term friendship. It really hurts. You feel it. And this is where I say you need to trust your gut. A lot of times our gut is more honest with us than our minds are, because we do have that guilt. So a lot of times we'll try to talk ourselves to stay into these friendships that are no longer healthy for us. So the first step is to trust your gut. We've all felt it before, that feeling of anxiety when we're going to meet up with that friend, that problematic friend, or even when we see the name appear on our phone. So the first step is to really trust your gut.
And I mean, there's such an ebb and flow to friendships. Like, there are times where you're distant. There are arguments, as any natural human relationship. How do you know when something is worth fighting for or it's time to let go?
Well, I tell my clients, I'm a life coach and I work with women in their middle years of life. And I always tell them, write a little story. What does this look like in 5 years, this friendship? Can you see yourself in this friendship in 5 years? If the answer is absolutely not, and it gives you more stress and anxiety, that perhaps is not a friendship worth investing that extra time to heal. And friendships naturally don't end within 7 years. Most friendships, out of the majority of friendships you have in your lifetime, have a 7-year lifespan. And that's okay, because our lives change. As you said, we ebb and flow.
And Jerry, if people are looking for more information on this, you do have some resources available. You have a couple of books.
I do. And my books are on Amazon, but the easiest way to find me is my website, which is An Imperfectly Perfect Life. It's a mouthful, but it's An Imperfectly Perfect Life.
Wonderful. Well, we thank you so much for the advice this morning. This is such difficult territory to navigate, and we appreciate you kind of leading the charge on that. So have yourself a wonderful day.
Thank you. You too.